Okay, first what we are going to do, we are going to be initialize the a state variable. What is the state variable? The state variable is any user defined variable. So how we can define? So one minute, I am getting one call. Okay, first we are going to be initialize the variable. So how to export const initial state state equals to open close brace. So you might find, okay, if I type something automatically, some of the data will come. So how, let's say export const initial state equals to open close brace. So how it is, some automatically it is giving a next word. So how it is, in the sense I am using a tab 9. Where is a tab 9? I think deleted. Yeah, this is a tab 9 AI tool I'm using. If you just go for the package and search for the tab 9 AI, so it will give the next version of the code when you are going to be studying. So count, COUNT, count 0. So we have initialized with the count 0. Sorry, this is the comma. Okay. The next what we are going to do, we have initialized the variable initial state count is a 0, and we are going to be call the reducer function. So what is the reduce? The export the const reducer equals to, so here we will pass the a state and a action. Okay, so what is the state, what is the action, how we are passing to the reducer, we will tell you, no worries. So now I will use a switch case, switch bracket, then open close flower bracket. In the switch, the action type, if you just see here, I removed everything. I will just type a action. Automatically action dot type how it is coming. So this is by the tab and AI tool. So just I am pressing a tab. Control S. So case, the first case. First case is the increment, then return. So initially the count colon state dot count plus 1. So this is for the increment. Again case decrement, okay, return, ret. See, I have not typed automatically it is came. The count is initially count variable and a state dot count plus one. This state will be passed by the another component. So this is the increment and a decrement. And there is a one more case is there. Yeah, here, sorry, I will use a one more count is a reset. For the reset, return initial state. What is the initial state? The initial state is a 0. When I call the reset, so we need to call the initial state. Case reset initial state. Yeah, this is will be in the uh, CAC declaration or statement expected. What is this one? Which one? No, it will be. That's not a case. Okay. Yeah. No, this is the case. No. So this is extra I have added. That is the mistake. I thought like that this is a here. So no need this one written as well. And this is the case written. And we have a one more. Why we need a default? So we have discussed in JavaScript. Anyone? Default? Yes. Yeah. Default we can pass our user defined errors here. Unknown case, something like that. Yeah, so here we will need to close this one. So this is the open close base. This is the open and close bracket. Okay, so now we have so here we have created a one use reducer. So this is the sorry a reducer. Okay, then we are using inside a counter. So how to create a counter? First we'll import a import not here import bracket use the reducer. Okay, hit enter, automatically it is imported. Use reader, and we need to import a two more thing called that is the initial count and this reducer. So for that, import from, so reducer, what initial state comma reducer method. So this two things we have initialized. And the next is I want to take a one state variable. What is the state variable? The constant bracket count comma set count use state. The initially is what we are going to be pass here, the reducer comma initial state. Okay, so now I want to count colon state dot count. So I will just take a here one H1 control V. Okay, so this we should be in the floor bracket state dot count. Okay, so here it is a reducer is there, a state value, and here it is a count. This is the count value. State dot count is the initial counter. So let okay. First, then I will go for the one more method for increment, decrement, and return. For that, I will create a button increment. So here I will call the on click method. There is a one more method called a dispatch. So this is from the use reducer. In the Redux also you are using this one dispatch inside a bracket. Then we are calling a type colon increment whatever we have passed here. So that is we need to pass here. So this one user define, you can create whatever you want. Save it. Again, I want to create a one more button inside a button decrement, then on click colon dispatch bracket inside a bracket add a type colon. So here what is the decrement? So this is the decrement we need to pass here. Then I will use a button reset on click bracket sorry dispatch arrow function. Okay, dispatch bracket and type colon reset. What is the reset? What value? Yeah, this is a string is a reset. Okay, so now here what happens? So counter we have created. So this counter object, see, this is the use reducer function. Initial state count is 0. Then this reducer is taking a state value and action. What is the state value? The value. Action is either increment, decrement, reset. Okay, so then I will just add to in the app.js. I will just comment this one. I will add a counter counter. Okay, I need to import a counter. See here it is already it is there. That is why it is not showing. I will just comment it. Okay, I will see counter component hooks to counter. So above it is imported where it is, yeah, counter component. Okay, the counter's state is not defined. Why state we have defined? Yes, state. This is the state. Uh, state, and this is the dispatch. Okay, so we'll just go to the component localhost 3000 cannot read the properties of a read type. Okay, where is this one? JS bundle cannot read a property of a type. So what is the mistake? The reducer is there. So reducer we have defined the initial count. So count is 0. Okay, and the constant reducer. This is the state and action. The state we are passing here. Switch action dot type case increment return count state dot count plus 1 correct, and the case decrement and a return count state dot count minus 1 correct. Default is there. So I think everything is correct here, and where it is throwing an error it is in counter. Okay, and here we will see in the app.js. So initial we have imported a use reducer from the React and initial count and a reducer, whether it is importing properly. Yes, it is importing, and counter we have taken a state and a dispatch correct. Use state a reducer initial state. Okay, then button is state dot count means it is going to be show the count method. Button on click dispatch we are calling. So this is the arrow function correct. So type here also we are passing correct only. We'll add some space here. So still it's correct. No mistake here. Type increment type counter type spelling correct, right? Action dot type. Control C. Yeah, type spelling is correct. Increment and decrement reset. So everything looks correct. Then what is mistake? Okay, reading a type. Okay, just for debugging purpose, I will comment whole thing and control S will go here. Reading the proper cannot read the properties of undefined type. So type is okay. Here only one place type is there. So okay, case increment return here it is going to be return count state count plus one and case decrement action dot type action spelling correct here also matching type is correct. Then what is the mistake? And the constant initially count equals to initial state count equals to 0. We are importing properly. Yeah, use reducer. Oh shit. I am using here. Use reducer I need to use. Yeah. Increment, decrement, reset. So what is happening here? My reducer function is here. There are three functions are there. One is for the increment, one is for the decrement, one is for the reset. Okay. And one more is a counter function. And here it is a app.js is there. So this is for the increment, this is for the decrement, and this is called the reset. And here it is a the counter component. Okay, and here it is the app.js. See, we are not sharing the component. We are sharing the. You have a okay. You have a logic like that, sir. We can define one component. So that component we are going to be call inside a counter component. That is, we are integrated to the app.js. See, this is the component import. But here we are not importing a component. We are importing a state and actions. So increment, decrement, and a reset. Inside a component, we are fetching the from one component to the another component or accessing. Okay, this is the actual functionality they have kept here, but buttons they have kept here. So that is increment and decrement and reset. Okay. So once you click on increment, it will call this function and decrement, this will call this function, reset, this will call this function. Got it? So this is called a state management. Okay, we already seen on like state and props and why. See, this is the complex state management where it is used. Let's say you have a one website. So this is your website, okay? E-commerce website. So here you have is your tab. So here it is like something called home, and here it is the products. Inside a product electronics and all everything it is there. And here it is a one more tab called terms and condition. And here we have a something called a cart. Okay, so here once you select a one product, so that product is going to be sit in the cart. So you will not complete the cart functionality. So you added and you go for the product page and one more electronics page, and again you will select the one more product you added here. So increment 1 plus 1 2, because you added a one item here and another item. Again you will not go for the payment, and you will go for the home, and again you will open a one more tab called a class. In the class page you will go here, you will add a one more thing, again it is going to be store here. See, this all information where it is storing, anyone? Anyone? So we have added a three products. First I have added this one, second I have added this one, third one. Yeah, but what is the account? No, that is okay. Count I have defined. Generically, where it will store. Yes, state. Because I have added here this one, item 2, item 3. I can add item 4 as well. So that is going to be stored to the initial state. So that is here. That is initial. I have defined a count. I can define items. So how to define items? Just say items, and horizontal type increment. Okay, initially count. Sorry. Okay, let it be like the variable name should be anything. Okay, it should not be like that count or anything. So the variable name should be anything. Okay, so this is the central state. Then why we are using use state in the sense whenever we want to depend on the complex state. Okay, so complex state there we are using the what we can say this one in okay, complex state. See, we are using increment, decrement, reset, all three functionality we are maintaining in a one stage. Okay, so same thing in the complex state in the sense you are going to be add a product. So that product information, so that is a USN or a some of the product code are standard. So it has to be hit to the one central government website and it has to be fetch. And you are calculating a GST. So GST GST website or GST server APIs, it is going to be hit and calculate. Okay, and one more API is contacting for other component. So all these are maintaining with a common state. It depends on a one state to the another state. So that time we are using the use reducer. Okay, use reducer. See, same thing. React Redux is also same thing. There is some extra features they have added. Okay, so for the small project and also we can use a use reducer function. Okay, first we will try to understand the code. What is the initial state? See, initial states define the initial state of the counter. So this is the initial state. Then the reducer. A reducer is a function that takes the current state and the action, then returns the new state based on the action type. What is the action type? Action type is a increment or decrement, like that. So what is a reducer? Reducer is taking a state and action. Yeah. Ha. Action dot type means action is a increment or a decrement or a reset. So that is called a type. Yeah, it is by default. So we need to use a this increment or decrement action dot type. See, action is there. So which one? Either increment or a decrement or a reset. So we are calling a like a which type of action it is. And coming to the counter, so we have first we need to initialize the use reducer. Okay. So from the React. And one more function you are going to be see the dispatch. So dispatch function send the action to the reducer to update the stage. See, dispatch function, it is going to be send the type to the reducer, sorry, for the dispatch. Dispatch function it will do. And coming to the button, so these are all the three buttons. When I click on this one, it is calling a dispatch method, and dispatch method it is sending the action type. So this is the type value it is passing here. So this case will be matched means it will be increment, this case will be matched means it is a decrement. Okay. And this is called a reset. Okay, so this is all about like React.js, the use reducer. So your React Redux is also similar only. There is a slight changes will be there. Okay, so this is all about what we can say use reducer. So we have many other use states are there, but we are not using all. So which are all the important? So this is also what you can say. This is also important compared to the like use memo and all. So use state, use effect, uh, use reducer, use context. So these four are very important because oftenly we are using. Even use memo, still I am not using this use state. Okay, the next one more thing will come that is called the use callback. Okay, what is a use callback? What is a callback, anyone? Huh. Callback. What is a callback function? Huh. Yes, yes. I will give an example. Uh, I will ask the pen to one person, Karthik, and Karthik itself he will ask for the Rakesh. So I have asked the pen, give me a pen. So person A, person B, person C. So person A called to person B give a pen, and person B itself he has to call for person to give a pen. So then he has to wait for this one to complete. So this is called a callback. So he is calling to B. B itself it is calling a one more callback. So this is a normal JavaScript, but We are going to be used with the React.js component or React.js use callback method. Okay, for that I will first will create a two components. So one is a child component, another is a parent component. So I am passing to that parent component to the app.js. First we'll define a child component. So inside a hook, child component dot jsx. Then sorry, React RFC React functional component export. Save it. Then so this is the child component is there. So I will just rewrite a little bit. I will pass the react dot memo. Okay, I will just rewrite here. So first import react from react constant child component equals to react dot memo. So memo is something like that, memorizing. And we are passing two parameters, that is on click comma one more variable count. CLG, so it has to be within a double quote. Okay, so this is the child component is rendered. Then I will call the return. So I will take a button increment child on click. Same on click we have passing here. Okay, the next what we are going to do, we will create a parent component here. So for that, and so here no worries, I will use a React class, sorry, React functional component export. Save it. I will use the two things. Import. Okay. I will anyhow it is from the React only. Comma bracket. First one is the use state to manage the state. and use callback. Okay, and I need to import a child component as well. Import child component from child component. So is it importing properly or not? Just hold control click. So it is opening properly, then it is imported properly. Then I need to initialize the constant bracket equals to use state is a 0 and a count comma set count method and a constant. This is the action bracket increment comma set increment use state 1. Okay, first we'll go for the UI part. I will just remove here. I will use a h1 parent count colon count. Button. Okay, so on click bracket set increment bracket increment plus 1. So increment. So anyhow I called child component. On click increment count okay. So here save it. So I need to call the increment method here. Sorry, define. Okay, so here increment equals to, so here I will call the use callback. Use callback bracket open close brace uh, I will just need to change increment. I will just so I will just change the yeah, this one will be incrementer Okay, incrementer and the set incrementer, and the set incrementer and increment plus 1. Okay, so child component, this is the increment. This increment is different, this increment is different. Okay, count. So now here what happens? So increment, use callback. Then we are calling a set count method. Set count bracket. We will call a one more function. What is that function? So we need to call the one temporary variable, that is a previous count, equals to, so previous count plus incrementer, not a increment. See, incrementer variable is different. Save it, and comma, we are passing a incrementer. We'll close all those things, close all. Child component and a parent component, and we will open as a one more app.js component. Control/. So now I want to import a parent component here. Inside component hooks parent component, it is imported. Control S. Yes, errors are there. Source parent component JS 31. Yes, I think it is exported. Yes, child component. Yeah, so I think child component we are not exported. That is why it is telling export default. Where? Okay. Return. Increment. Yeah, what is a mistake? We'll go to the console. On click. Yeah, here it is telling that child is rendered, but on click is not handled properly. So I think we have not. Yeah. So here what we have done, the on click should be C should be caps on CLI. See here, on click should be caps. Reload it. See, child component is rendered and increment the child. See, when I click on this one, okay, first we'll go to the code. So this is the child component, and I need to define over here. Count is C, it is not defined. So that's why I will use a H1 count co child count colon bracket count. increment. Okay, so we will understand here. The first will what it will load. It will go for the app.js and it is going for the parent component. In the parent component, we have the count and set count. The count value is 0, set count is a 0. Then one more is a incrementer, set incrementer, initial is a 1. But here what happens? So once I click on, so it is going to be display the parent count, and by default the child component also it is imported, and this is the child count value is here it is a increment, here it is a increment. So increment is there, increment child is there. So I will make a reload it, parent increment, child increment. So, okay, so we will go through the code here. Here what happens? It will app.js is loaded and it will come for the parent component. In the parent component, we have initialized the two variable, the count 0, incrementer is 1. So now, so this is the parent component is there. So in the parent component, incrementer we are going to be call set incrementer increment plus 1. Okay. So then we added a initial value is incrementer is what 1, 1 plus 1 2 is added. So whenever you will click here, so it is a 1 minute. Yeah, why is reload it? So it has to be increment by 2. Yeah, see here, increment by 2 you are going to be seeing here. How it is initially in use incrementer value is 1 and plus 1 we are doing incrementer, it is going to be increment by 2. Why? Because increment by default value is 1. This is the 1. Okay. So then when we click on this one, set incrementer, and it is calling a use callback functions as well. So set count, previous count, incrementer. So it is applying for the child also. How the use callback is a function. Once we call the we are passing the increment function. Okay, and here we are calling the on click function. So when we click on this one, so this on click event and the count is available for the child as well. So if I just reload it, I am calling in the parent. Okay, so here what happened here, where are the actions we are passing here, we are passing with the child component as well. Here it is passing the parent component as well. So this is for the initial state values and this is the incremental value. So incremental value by default 1 is there. So this is a this one incrementer plus 1 is there. So again that is the increment value, it is applied to the this count state value. So that child component, it is taking as a increment value in the count. Action is a on click, whether it is for the parent component or whether it is for the child component button. So two states are taking, one is a count. So how it is memorizing? The count variable is here. Then how it is memorizing in the sense? So this is a React.memo is there. Okay. So then you have a question. So we have done like in the React.js already we know how to pass the props value, why we need in the sense. So whenever the see React.js hooks in the sense, it is a base version of a React.js only. So they are, whenever you want to dealing with a complex thing, so that time they are going with you use the use callback hook. And internally use callback hook, what it is the same what we have discussed here. So it is there. So increment is there and a set incrementer is there. So there are the two functions it is calling here. So for that, this is the on click event and value. We know how to pass as the props. Same thing we are passing a props, but we are calling with the use callback hook. So that is a initial value is 0 is there in the child component. So previous count is 0. Previous count is 0 plus 1, 1 it will be there. So an incrementer is what? 1. 1 plus 1 it is a 2 it is going to be a display here. So again it will be keep on calling set incrementer. It is calling a set increment method count plus 1. So here it is a like incrementer it is going to be increment by 1 and 1. So this one it is not used most. Most used is a there is a use state and a use effect and some sort of and use context and use reducer. So this four like hooks means it is more enough because almost all the projects they are using these hooks. So understanding that these hook is more enough. So if you want a further, so then you can go through. So many hooks are there, 20 plus or 30 plus hooks are there. So next we are going with the just I will brief over what is a React Redux, then we will finish it. What is a React Redux? So this is the official site of a Redux. See, this is not a language dependent. This Redux can be used with Java, sorry, React or Angular or Vue.js. So this is the what you can say independent. So React Redux is the official React UI building a layer for Redux. It lets you to components read the data from the Redux store and dispatch actions and stores update the data. You might heard about the store and dispatch. Okay, so that is we will discuss on the next uh, class. Then, if you know this one means so like almost all React.js is over. Okay, learning is so many things are there. See again, increment, decrement, increment amount, increment sync. So this is all we are going to be discussed here. So how it will be white user React Redux and quick start. So what is it? First we need to install this package and a store. We have to create a store and this is the provide the Redux store to the React. So this is the index.js, React dom create. So app.js will be loaded here. Then create a Redux state slice. Okay. So like that we are going to be use the Redux React Redux with the TypeScript. So this is all about what we can say React Redux. So this is a one